That's actually a good like time marker, like when the welcome back to Watch Your Mouth, episode 9. We got Mr. Ramses Terrero back in studio. I'm going to talk to him today about Studio Nobody, what that platform is, and some stuff he's been shooting. Mr. Sony shooter himself. You converted me from the Canon to a Sony shooter myself. So, welcome back. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man. It's been, when was the last time we did something together? Like a few months back?
Mm-hmm.
And the last time we did something physically like this was like half a year ago.
Yeah. It was like March, April.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy with all the crap that's been happening lately.
Yeah.
To have the time to like sit down together and like do this once again.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of doing all the Zoom ones that we were doing with our friends.
Yeah. Which I think we're good. I think content-wise they're great, but there's something about sitting down with people and having that energy in the room. Yeah,
the intimacy is completely different, right? Like the way you carry a conversation, seeing each other.
The vibe too, because like, yeah, you could pick up on body language with like through video or through like a Zoom call or whatever, but like, people are pretty easy to like conceal how they like feel or they're nervous or some shit like right away. But I think this is good. This is a step in the right direction for getting the platform going. But tell us about Studio Nobody, man. We saw the facelift to the website. What encouraged that, or what sparked that need of change?
A lot of things, man. Actually, over the summer. So I guess we can talk about some things that happen within our professional life. But
we work together, obviously, at a small spot.
Yeah, I guess we can like run it back. And talk about what happened. But
for sure,
because of some issues that we had like in our professional life,
mm-hmm.
and obviously like everything that's been happening, I was actually able to get subcontracted through my company, or like through Studio Nobody. I officially made it an LLC because I was able to get subcontracted to work for an interior design office for all of summer.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good opportunity to give like not only revenue but like credibility to it as a design company, and to learn a new skill. And then I also decided to hire interns.
That's great.
And at the moment we're participating in some architectural competitions that are happening internationally. So I felt like the facelift and the allure that the website had to like keep up with everything that was happening with it professionally.
Absolutely.
And I mean, so far it's been great. I mean, we like the company finally broke 5 digits.
Nice.
Which I think
there you go.
I mean, it's not like a huge step, but it's a pretty big step for me personally.
That's good.
And I'm really excited to be able to like share with people and share with even like some of my students at the moment, and with some of my interns, like I guess like our growth and how we can like reach out to people.
Absolutely. For those of you that haven't seen like the first episode or anything that Rams and I do apart from this podcast, we actually both started a podcast called The Architecture Rundown. It's kind of like tips and tricks for architecture students, things that we wish we knew when we were in school or studying, or right before we were going to go into architecture school. It was something that we thought could fill like a gap within the community, I guess you would call it. And then, I think that kind of goes hand in hand with what Studio Nobody is. So for people that don't know, what is Studio Nobody, and like what does it kind of stand for?
So apart from Studio Nobody being a design studio, and to be kind of like a visual portfolio of the body of work that I've been a part of and that I'm working on, I wanted to be a hub for students, right? And any design school, obviously more architecture focused.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be a hub where everyone can see the work of my students, right? I'm currently teaching at FIU. I'm teaching architectural design and graphic design, apart from teaching computer applications and design in Dash, which is the previous episode, or the last episode we had together. Yeah. I was only teaching at Dash. Now I'm teaching at both Dash and FIU.
Nice.
So I'm definitely growing my student body of work and experience. And I wanted to be like a hub for any student or anyone thinking about design school to be able to see the type of work, and like, I guess like the school applications and the school experience and different school portfolios to do that website. Down the line, I'm planning on, apart from the videos that we have together, right, like kind of like sharing experiences, showcasing some of our friends' work. I definitely want to have like files there that can be helpful, obviously that are free, and pretty much like any pedagogical pursuit that I wish we would have had, right? Even if we had it, I felt like I felt like I was so closed off.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't pay as much attention as I should have.
It happens.
So I want that to be like this central node for anyone to be able to and go down a rabbit hole of fun education within the design field, if that makes sense.
Yeah, to get inspired, because I think, we've said it a number of times. A lot of times when you're in school in general, but it's such an intense schooling and fast-paced schooling that architecture could be, or even design school, you get kind of like a tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And you forget to kind of like take a step back and enjoy the journey that is the school, and to, look out for resources that can help you, and you kind of get pigeonholed in these. Yeah,
especially
ideas.
From the beginning, from the get-go. When you start, you're so closed off. I mean, I felt like I was really closed off, and even when I graduated, I was still closed off. I've been opening up now. Now that I'm teaching, and now that I'm in a professional workspace in which you're very constrained, it's really funny that now is when I'm starting to like open up. Yeah. And I get it. Like when you start architecture school or design school in general, it's difficult. It's something completely new, and you have to like learn like a new way of thinking, a new way of doing everything, and you have to think. And you got to handle like everyday life, and especially now with all this crap that's happening, it's really difficult for anyone within the design field to have to self-learn within a closed-up environment by yourself, like through a computer screen, without physical like interaction or collaboration with students. Yeah, especially like when you're younger, right? I mean, we're pretty young, so I'm going to assume that the older you get, the more like retention you have. Yeah. And even right now, like my retention I think it's okay. When I was younger, it was really bad. Yeah, you feel like it's getting better? Yeah. So for everyone that's kind of young, going to university, going to like design pursuits, you need to have a lot of self-discipline. Yeah, absolutely. To like really go through with this, especially through these times. Yeah, especially because it's a new normal for everyone, like teachers and students alike. Like we're both trying to figure out everything as we go together. With that being said, and with this new normal of being at home mostly for school, what would you say is the biggest takeaway that they can have to, I guess, enhance or make it a little bit of an easier switch to this kind of like virtual learning? I don't know, man. I mean, it's kind of like a hard question to answer. Yeah. I definitely feel there's not a perfect answer for the way that we should do things, but I feel like you should definitely like have a very open mind and your attitude. You need to have a very open attitude with everything that's going on, right? Yeah. Like anything can happen, and every day is something new, and every day a new problem comes, and like I feel like students and teachers alike, we need to be flexible. Yeah. And definitely communicate as much as possible. Communication is something that I feel like students don't do enough. Okay. Because they're shy. Yeah. Or for, X, Y, or Z. But, there's a lot of crap that's happening, personally and like within like the work and the school environment. So I feel like your attitude needs to be very open, and the communication between yourself as a mentor or like yourself as a student with a mentor and vice versa, it has to be there 100%. Yeah. Like I agree. I can't help you if you don't want to be helped. I can help you if I think everything's okay, but like you don't tell me everything. So I feel like, I don't know, just attitude-wise, like people need to get out of their shelves and like communicate as much as possible with each other. Yeah, and it sounds kind of like I guess not tough, but like it sounds kind of like abrasive. But they always say closed mouths don't get fed. If you can't voice that you need help, a lot of times, I wouldn't know from a teaching perspective, but just with people in general that need help, sometimes you kind of have to pull teeth to get them to ask for help. And, at the end of the day, you want to leave school or leave any pursuit with some sort of knowledge or peace of mind to know that you have what it takes to go to the next level. And if you don't ask for help, or if you don't seek out the resources, it's going to be a cycle of like
constantly getting stuck and like only overcoming small goals, not getting to the ultimate like end goal.
Yeah, how many times, even in a professional setting, like how many times do you not ask for help? Like as an intern or as a young professional, how many times did we get told to do something? We're like, oh yeah, we'll do it. Don't worry about it.
Figure it out.
And like we don't know. Like you do not know shit. And you're fronting. You're sitting there with your head held high, and then you kind of wait to the last minute to ask someone above you, like, hey, can you kind of help me with this, or like what exactly
does this entail?
Yeah, so it's kind of annoying, man. I feel like designers are so like prideful to ask for help or shy or scared, and I kind of hate that. Like I feel like the new normal should be us being as open as possible.
Yeah,
it's a very communal like profession, even if there is so much like toxic work culture and student culture, because in any design environment, competition can get very toxic, and it's a super competitive field. Like it's not a participation award field.
No,
But
I think it also comes down to feeling like you, or at least with the professional setting, a lot of interns graduate now feeling like they should know something that they don't know. Therefore, asking for help makes them feel like they're maybe not prepared, or maybe their superior or their boss may look at them like, why don't you know that yet? And I think that kind of like, well, yeah, that might be a shitty situation. Like you should take it upon yourself to kind of like try and learn yourself if you can, but also ask for the assistance and guidance, or else.
Yeah, I mean, school, I'm not going to say the school is not supposed to prepare you. School should prepare you, but in reality, I think school prepares you to think.
Oh, for sure.
Right? But at least, I mean, I can't speak for other professions, but architecture school, at least a lot of them that I've seen, they don't really prepare you for like real world applications per se, because it's so difficult.
Which is
right?
okay.
Like every office is completely different. Like everyone runs their thing like in a completely different like setting, but it's okay to not know, right?
Yeah.
It's okay to not know exactly how things are done at a specific company, but at the same time, there is so much like toxicity and like oppression with the work environment, in which like if you go on any, like let's say you go on Indeed or like Glassdoor or any of these like sites, right? And you look for an entry level architectural work position, right? They want you to know every single damn program, like every single one, right? Like they don't care about if you know how to do things or not, or at least they don't put it on paper, which I think is the most important thing that you should look for in a person, right? Like anyone can draw, anyone can model, anyone can do anything. At least anyone getting out of school right now, right? Like we're young, we're like a sponge. Anyone going through school can like easily learn how to draw. Yeah. But do you actually know what you're drawing? Do you know how things work? Do you know how to put things together? Do you know the creative process and the logical process that it takes to get something from zero to like a finished result? You don't. Yet all these offices, they want you to know every single Autodesk program. They want you to know every single Adobe program. They want you to know how to render, how to do everything. They want you to have years of experience straight out of school. Yeah. Or like for an entry level position, for internships position. And they want to pay you like non-livable wages. Yeah. Like we have friends that they get paid what anyone that did not go to school can get paid. Yeah. Which is a shame. Not that I expect us to, make this like absurd amount of money, especially if we have a master's degree, but like we should definitely have some like relatively okay living wages.
Well, yeah, it also goes with the fact that, I mean, obviously the piece of paper doesn't mean that you deserve more money, but like in other fields with similar level of experience through school, it's night and day. Yeah. But I mean, so, with all that being said, and you seeing how employers or
this is not all employers, by the way. This is like just
no, not at all. But I'm saying, like, what did you, when you said you recently have like interns with Studio Nobody, like how did you kind of like combat those ideas? Like what was the best way to kind of like pick an intern and make sure that they fit the work culture, if you will?
mean, definitely, I don't see it as a. Let's say, like, I don't see it as a work culture per se.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I told him from the get go, like, this is not. I'm your boss, and you're my employee, and we
Right.
do as I say. I'm treating it like a studio environment. Like, we're a team.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said it. I've always told them we're a team.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously, you guys have. I mean, I do have obviously like a very limited amount of experience because I'm only 24. I've only worked professionally for about 3.5, almost 4 years, and in small to medium offices. So obviously, I don't know everything, right? But I do have more experience over them. And even though not everything that I say might be right, like I feel like I could guide them to a better point, and I could mentor them as we go. So I've always tried to like regurgitate the fact that we're a team, that we're in this together, and that every time we all bring like a surplus of ideas or like different ideas, we're gonna try to like synthesize into one thing. Obviously, the best thing possible for that specific like job or competition that we're working for. But I want everyone to feel heard, right? Like I want no one to feel like left out, left behind, and I really wanted to make it about them. Right, like I know obviously like the company is going towards a specific goal. Right. And we are building up our portfolio and we are, entering all these things, but I want it to be about, apart from that, the learning process that I can give them. Right. Right. Something that I feel like let's say like people like in their age and like that young, like they don't really have that experience yet. Right. Because typically, like, we started getting that experience, like, after we graduated or, like, towards our grad school. So I wanted to be about the people, right? Like,
like nurturing young minds.
And obviously it's different, right? Like, it's not a corporation structure, so, like, you can't really, like, mix and match and, like, look at them the same way. But I guess that's how it is at the moment.
Well, that's good. That's great. I think having the energy and the wherewithal to train people that are before you or like that are the generation, under us, I guess you would say. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of self-awareness and stuff like that. So, kudos to you. And you're also working on raw culture, building that portfolio.
Yeah. So, I mean, how do I say this? So I've always been like very invested in like graphic design, like visual design, like anything that's design in general. And I've always kind of liked photography. Never really practiced it on my own. The first time I ever did photography, like ever, like literally the first time I picked up a camera, was thanks to my ex-girlfriend actually. Like she used to like kind of like have like some photo shoots of like, like people and like birthdays and events and stuff like that. And she'll tag me along. And sometimes I'll be like, hey, like, what if you get this angle? What if you get like this image composition? And then she would always tell me like, oh, like you're better than I am. Like you have an eye for this. And like she'll kind of get upset that I wasn't doing this like actively like she was, but yet I was like getting like a better result. And I feel like, and this is something that we talked about before, that even though I wasn't like doing anything within this field, every other design aspect that I have been working on for years, they kind of like synthesize into like this one thing. And then I remember you actually told me, you asked me one time, you have your friend Fred, he's been on your podcast before, shout out Fred Poetic Hero.
Shout out Fred Gordon, moving forward, available now.
I remember you told me that he wanted to like do a photo shoot for like his upcoming like poetry book. And you asked me like if
you could take some pictures for moving
I could take
forward.
some pictures. And I didn't even have a camera, right? And I was like, yeah, of course. And then obviously I'm super impulsive. Okay, that sounds bad. I'm composed, right? But I'm pretty impulsive with the things that I like. So I literally went to Best Buy. I got a camera. Not an entry-level camera, as I should have. I got a pretty expensive camera. At least I think it's a very expensive camera for someone that has like no experience whatsoever. And then I kind of learned as I went that whole shoot. And surprisingly, I think it went pretty nice, right? Like, well. I think it went really well. And like, I don't know, I feel like, I mean, it's going to sound like kind of bad, but like, I feel like I have like a good eye. like for composition and like visual details. And as I started, like after you gave me like that gateway into doing that, as I started doing a little bit more, some people actually reached out to me. I started getting some clients, and like I've been lucky enough to have, you know, a small body of work, but a body of work period within the last few months of a lot of photography and like some videography, which like I'm really like humbled and like thankful for. And I guess going forward, I obviously like to kind of like grow that brand into like a visual marketing like media platform.
Gotcha.
To help startups, small companies, or anyone really kind of like visually market them.
Yeah.
Right. So like anything that has to do with like branding, photography, and videography.
Nice. I think it's like you're kind of creating like a mini ad agency, if you will. Yes and no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kind of.
Which is nice. I think those elements, along with your editing, because I think even in school, when you would edit things that weren't traditional photography, I guess you would say, you had like a keen eye for it, and you found like a lane for that. Was that something that you feel like was something that you kind of just you started doing and you got better?
Yeah, of course. I feel like I mean, it's like a muscle, right? The more you practice something, the more you do something, even if you don't think that one thing you're working towards to, everything relates, right?
Yeah.
And at least within the design field, everything relates, man.
Yeah.
Like, don't knock anything that's creative until you like do something else. Like everything that you do is slowly building up towards something else. Yeah. Especially with our, I mean, I say especially, but we've only had this experience.
Right.
With an architecture school is an umbrella for, I feel like every design, I guess, like branch. Like obviously not like at a micro level, but at a macro level.
Yeah, like Bauhaus.
Yeah. We go over like art, design, graphic design, a little bit of product design, industrial design, even music, like virtual reality, artificial reality, history, and it's very holistic in nature, and that's something that I feel like we should take advantage of. You know,
especially
like
outside of school.
Yeah, I've always heard that. I mean, our boss used to tell us that our hobby should not be architecture.
Yeah.
Right. You literally go to school for like 5 to 8 years, and then you're gonna work on it the rest of your life if you stay within the field. Learn something else.
Be a man of culture, he said.
Yeah, be a Renaissance man. Like, stop. I mean, it sounds like counterintuitive as to what they tell you, but you're gonna learn it, right? Yeah. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't study it, especially out of school, especially for your exams, but learn something else. Like, find the hobby. And me personally, I really I'm invested in design, period.
Yeah, of course.
So I felt like photography and like cinematography, or I guess like visual media, is the hobby that I want to pursue. It's still like within the design field, but it's not necessarily architecture. And it's honestly a lot less, in my opinion, taxing on the mind.
Yeah, when you do it, I guess with a direct purpose, I guess you would call it. Just because, I mean, architecture, we have a direct purpose, but
the process is so long,
spread out, and time consuming.
Yeah, I mean, not that. I mean, I know that like photo projects and video projects can take like months, years to plan out, but at least at the scale that I'm working in at the moment, I mean, an architectural project takes like a years, months. Yeah, even like let's say like a small like competition, it takes like months or weeks at the very least. But I feel like photography has been such a creative outlet, and it's something that I can show for not quickly, but like in a much quicker manner than architecture and design.
Which I think you can see, which is something like there's this idea of growth through your body of work, and like constantly seeing the first shoot. Let's say for raw culture, for example, you look at the first shoot, you look at the first video, and then even up until now, like those shoots could be days, weeks, and months apart. But when you realize that, like you said, the muscle is being built, you're finding a new trick here, a new editing tip here. Oh shit, I could color correct like this.
Yeah. And it really forced me to use. This is funny. So it forced me to use a program that ultimately enhances all of my architectural representation that I would have never used because it's not something that we have ever been encouraged to use or like told to use.
Yeah, no one.
Right? Like I started using Lightroom a lot for photography, and looking back at it now that I kind of know Lightroom, it's crazy that I never used it for anything else. Ever since I learned, when I redid my website, when I redid my portfolio, I put all my projects into Lightroom, and like holy shit.
Yeah.
Right. It looks like completely different projects, like at least from a rendering point of view, from a visual point of view. And I would have never done that. Like it would have never enhanced my design, like
end result
as much as it did if I would have never like followed that creative outlet. And that goes to show you how like everything relates and everything matters.
Yeah.
And like it's like trickle down economics. Like what you do at one point or one side ultimately will like completely engulf everything else in your life.
Yeah.
And for the better, right? I mean, it doesn't hurt to learn anything new. Like the worst that can come out of it is you get more experience.
Yeah.
I mean.
or maybe it just doesn't relate in the way you're doing it. Maybe you just need to affect your workflow.
Yeah.
But I think those two platforms as a whole, like what they stand for and what they are, I think they're direct representations of like how you were as a student and who you, I guess, aspire to be from.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say that much. I was a bad student. I say that to my students all the time. I even say that to the architecture coordinator and like the other teachers. I was a bad student. I don't think I was a good student. I started being a good student towards the end because when I started, I had a shitty attitude. Not that I was like, I don't think I was a bad person or anything.
Right, but
I was like very closed off, and I was only there, to be there from X time to X time, and I only wanted to do the bare minimum, and it really sucks, man. Like I look back now and I wish that I could have taken advantage of all the opportunities that I had.
Yeah.
Right, going through school. And just for anything in life, like I wish I would have had like the open attitude that I'm kind of like developing right now, and I owe it all to being able to teach for the past year. I feel like looking at my students and looking at my students now that are going through the same program that we went through, I'm kind of like reliving like those moments and those opportunities like through their eyes.
Yeah.
And they don't see it now. Right? They don't see it, but they have so many like opportunities that they're like wasting, because I definitely did. And if there's one thing that I want to teach, or there's one thing that I really want all my students to harp on and to gain and acquire for themselves, is attitude. Like just open-minded, positive attitude.
Yeah, perspective is everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. You could take any situation. Yeah, you take our situation, professional situation. We could have taken that any which way,
Yeah.
But it's what you do in those times, I guess, of adversity, or where something comes up and it challenges who you are and how you work. And if you go ahead and like move forward and take everything with a grain of salt, I guess.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna work out just fine. Everything may seem like it's crumbling around, but you.
Yeah, man. I mean, shit's always gonna happen.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our professional situation.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, no. I don't think we've covered this on either platform. I know we've kind of dabbled in it.
Yeah, we tell some friends and stuff
with a couple friends, but it was a tough situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think this year has been shit. It has been shit, right?
Yeah.
For most people, obviously, with everything that's happening. But do you want to say anything?
I guess, we were working in a small spot, and we got really close with our boss, and unfortunately, our boss passed away in March, and it was very surprising. I guess is the right word. I mean, it was very shocking.
And it's not anything that has to do with like the pandemic or
not at
the
all.
current situation. But it's crazy, right? I mean, the last interaction we had with him, it was 2 days prior.
Yeah, it was a very like upbeat, positive interaction.
Yeah, it was a great day. It was even the first time that we saw him like dressed casually. And this guy, for both of us, I mean, I can say it, he was like a grandpa to us, right?
Absolutely.
And it was family, right? Every day at work, I never felt like I was at work, right? I felt like I was with my family members. Like I was lucky enough to work, with my best friend.
Absolutely.
Right?
Same.
And with another person, our other coworker, that she's super cool.
What a ray of sunshine.
Yeah.
The best.
I wouldn't say we got off in like the right foot in the beginning. But like I definitely started like to appreciate her more. But him, like the perspective that he's given me, which is like not architectural whatsoever.
Yeah.
Is the one that I have appreciated the most out of any boss I've had. And it's crazy like how someone can be here one day and everything is perfect, and the next day like everything just goes to shit.
Yeah. Or even you plan out a future for
for him. He had a future planned out for like all of us, for the office. And right when like Chris and I were like working like towards like him having that future and him getting to those points that his office never got to before, like shit happens.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, it was difficult. It was difficult for both of us, not only like emotionally, but financially, because I mean, we're not going to get into any specifics.
Yeah, no, of course
at
not.
all. But like the company was like struggling, and we were still part of the company. There was
taxing times.
Yeah,
to say the least.
We became the face of the company, not financially or contractually, but since we
just in a representational way, I guess you would say it, or reputation to keep the reputation
both the project managers with everything. We're the ones that handle like, not only most of the day to day, but all the coordination things. And everyone was looking to both of us with answers and
answers that we didn't have.
We didn't have. And well, like a whole session.
Yeah, of course. We don't really need to get into specifics, but I think, I don't know if you want to talk about your takeaway from it, but I think my big takeaway from it was kind of one of those beautiful life lessons that he always taught us, was to be front of the office kind of person. He always had this analogy of there's the back of the house and the front of the house people. Back of the house is just going to sit there, work, clock in, clock out, and not really be involved. And then the front of the house is going to be involved with everything from day to day to even just being personable.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I don't know. My biggest takeaway from him was, so I mean, it's something that I really harped on like lately, and it's to like travel to meet different cultures, meet different people. Just be completely open-minded with everything in your life, and to never react. Like whenever you have an issue, whenever you have a problem, whenever you feel like the world is crumbling away, when everything's falling down, just relax. Like just sit back for a second and like think everything through before you take action.
Yeah.
And that's something that, I don't know, I mean, us, like we're young, we're reckless, we don't think, we're impulsive. And I feel like that's such an important like life lesson, like not only for young people, but like for everyone in general. Like I'm not saying not to act, but like think about your actions, think about the consequences of everything you do. And I mean, that's kind of like, I guess like the one like life motto that he always like said that I'm like trying to like constantly apply in my life, especially when anything happens, because shit happens all the time.
Yeah, and they go to old shoot your shot, bro.
Yeah.
Don't let any opportunity pass you by. Whenever there's a good opportunity that, can help you, whether that be professionally, whether that be like personally, wherever you can grow as a person,
do it.
Do it. We saw someone that was, well into the golden years of their life be able to change within a matter of months just through some perspective change.
Yeah.
So, be positive, I guess, which I guess is a way to look at things, but
yeah, I think, man,
even when things are negative,
in the whole year, he was never in a negative, like, it was never like, we never experienced negativity. That guy will like pull up in front of the office in his convertible. He was 70. Yeah. He'll pull up with his convertible every day with his aviators, the top down, and he will every single morning like bring us cupcakes, bring us
muffins.
Cookies.
Yeah,
like he was such a very like impersonable guy. He was super positive, and this guy always took all the energy in the room. He was 7 feet tall. He was 7 feet tall. He always had like a tacky scarf. You know how they say like every like old school architect needs to have like their one thing? Like that was him. Yeah. Right? Like his tacky scarf, and he was such a resonating person.
Yeah.
Right?
Even no matter what was going on either.
Yeah. Even if you hated him, you ended up liking him. Like not us personally,
but like you're saying.
Other people. And it's honestly like a really good like way to live. I guess it's very different than
a traditional.
Both of our attitudes, at least before we got there.
Yeah, I think it was. I don't know if it was a culture shock or if we were just super surprised that, oh, this is the work environment. We kind of expected a completely different thing, and obviously it's going to be super hard to find something like that. Not that it's going to be easy. We definitely got lucky.
Yeah, no, we got super lucky. Every Friday was like family time, right?
Yeah.
Every Friday was pizza day, and like, at 12, like we'll stop working for 2 hours. We'll eat in the table together, watch TV together. At 3 or 4, like we'll stop working, and, like go to happy hour or like sit on the couch and just talk. And anytime that, let's say we weren't doing so hot in the office or like the office morale was down, I mean, his initial reaction was to stop. Just stop, like get this like negativity out of here. Stop working. Let's sit down. Let's have a drink. Let's talk about it. Let's see how we're gonna like move forward.
Collect our thoughts.
And I think that's such an important thing, man. I feel like people just want to like squeeze the shit out of you. It doesn't matter like if things are bad. Like I'm just gonna squeeze you until you tire yourself out, and when you get out, I'll get someone new to squeeze out, right? But that could work, and it works. I mean, it does work. That's how a lot of places get behind. But it was like when I started working there, I knew that I was gonna be there like for a long time. That was definitely a place that I said to myself, I'm only going to be there temporarily while I look for another job, because the market wasn't that hot at the moment. And I started applying to jobs like months after we graduated. So I was a little behind in the application process. But once I got to like meet him and get to know him, see the office culture, once like I got you to start working there.
Thank God you did. What a great opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, we've always talked about the fact that we wanted to do something together. So that being a trial run, even up to this day, we're still back there, even if it's like part-time. I mean, it's crazy, right? Like I would have never guessed I would have had the opportunity to do so. Yeah. And I am extremely thankful, like not only like to you and working with you, but like to him. Like he always listened, and he always treated us as equals, even though he had not only 4 times the life experience and the professional experience, but, typically when you're like, when you have a lot of decades of life in you, you have certain values and certain ways of doing things, and you do not alter them or change them. And he was willing to slowly change, like for us and with us. And that's something that I think it's a beautiful thing that even people our age are not willing to do. And this guy, he was willing to do it for us, even though he only knew us for a few months. Yeah. Just big. I think, that's huge. I don't know. Like, there's still times where it's kind of like, oh shit, we did a lot. Yeah. And you look back at it and you grow
exponentially within some months, and then you realize, okay, hey, that goal that I always said I wanted to do, this is kind of what it looks like, even though obviously it's a lot crazier now, but this is kind of like a test run of how crazy things can get. And if you can handle the heat in the kitchen, if you will, I think you will be all right. I'm so grateful that I got the experience. And I remember one day you were like, I'm sorry I got you into this mess. And I was like, why would you apologize for that? Like, good thing I was here to help you through difficult situations that you may have had, and, vice versa. Which I think is also important in school and just in any environment. Definitely try to find peers that are level-headed and like-minded, that are moving in the same direction as you, goal-oriented, because, like you said earlier, this is all a team game.
Yeah, and things will eventually be okay. Yeah, I know right now it's difficult, and like it's really hard to see like the end of the light, especially for new people that are graduating. Most of the people that graduated this year that we know of, they haven't found a job. Most of my students right now, they're struggling and they're pretty sad. They're
with good reason.
They hate, what's happening, how everything is happening, and I know it's difficult, but just hang in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
keep your head up.
I know it's trash, right? Like it's a shitty situation, but it is what it is. You need to be strong and you need to hold on, and things are gonna look up eventually. You just need to, be sad all you want.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to
cry while you're walking, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, continually stay moving. Never stay stagnant. Like, I don't care how sad you are. I don't care how shitty everything is. And obviously, like, my life and like my experiences, I don't know, like what everyone else is going through, but try to find the strength to like constantly move forward, no matter how bad things are.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how bad things are. Like, even at like my toughest times, and like the times that I felt like everything was going to shit, like I was moving.
Yeah.
I'll be like even if I'm like crying, or like I have like a broken heart, or like whatever it is, or like something happened, like just move, man. Like I feel like people don't know how important it is to stay moving, even if you're not moving forward necessarily. Just stay moving.
And if you're moving sideways, that's all right. But
yeah,
I think the biggest word of advice is to collect your positive thoughts in those moments. It's easy to have negative thoughts or sad thoughts at a time like this. It really is. And it's obviously easier said than done to keep moving and stay positive. But like kind of like what you said, take a step back, collect those thoughts, and find
a way to move forward.
Those positive reasons, and then use those as a catalyst to keep going.
Yeah.
But
yeah, man, especially you're right now, I'm gonna assume that most people are in a room in four walls, day in, day out, and everything that you feel, like at least all the negativity, it only exponentially grows because it echoes within those four walls every single day, and you only have yourself to hear and your thoughts to hear. But I don't know,
reach out to somebody if you can.
Yeah, reach out to people, man. Like, everybody has everyone, right? Even if you don't think you have someone, you have someone. There's someone that's willing to be there for you. There's someone that wants to be there for you.
Someone will listen, yeah.
Yeah, and right now, try to reach out to as many people as possible, because it's honestly, it can take a mental toll on you.
Yeah, I said it when David was up here. Check on your friends and check on your strong friends. And David even said it too. Check on the friends that you normally don't have to check on, because that emotional stability and ability to stay strong in any emotional situation takes a toll on you.
Yeah, you never know what's happening. You really don't know what's happening with anyone, even if they seem fine. So
right now, while we're all going through it, let's be here for each other more than ever, with everything going on.
Yeah, now more than ever, everyone has something in common.
Yeah,
we're all going through shit.
Yeah,
right. Just
let's lock arms and keep moving.
Yeah,
forward.
let's all go through shit together.
Yeah. honestly, I think that's the best like point we could have said.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, thank you again for coming on. Let everyone know where they can see your work and, get a taste of some of that Studio Nobody and raw culture life.
Yeah, so you guys can follow me at Studio Nobody _ Instagram and Raw Culture with no E at the end. Same thing, studionobody.com and rawculture.com. Thank you for having me, man. It's honestly always a pleasure to be here.
Anytime.
Like, I love collaborating with friends. Like, I love having conversation with friends. I can't wait till, obviously, like, we both grow as a platform.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait to, have these seats, like, filled up with more people one day.
Yeah, for sure, dude. It's an exciting thing to watch grow.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I mean, when you sit back, I mean, also this is a good like visual record of like not only our history but like your history and like everyone's history that can come here, and even if we have this like let's say like every 6 months, right? I'm sure that our growth and our development mentally and like as people, it's exponentially like larger as we go on. So it's really cool to see this and like kind of sit back,
absolutely,
and see this process.
Yeah, and to know that we can affect people's lives somehow.
Yeah, even if we affect one person, that's enough, right? One person is enough. One person is enough to like keep you going.
Absolutely. But right now everybody needs one thing. I kind of said it with David. People need somebody, so be there for somebody. Check on your friends. Not to get political at all, but exercise your right to vote. Fill out the census. I sound like a dad right now. But yeah, stay positive. Thank you again. Peace. Blessings.